probably prayed for something at some point in your life and were left confused or felt betrayed as to why God did not answer it. Same. If you don't already know, prayer is essentially communication with God, and it isn't always just asking for something, but sometimes that's all we do. This verse really stuck out to me, and I learned that God actually hears every single prayer. In Isaiah 59:1, the prophet claims, "Listen, the Lord's arm is not too weak to save you, nor is his ear too deaf to hear you call." And even more than that, he hears the silent ones, because he knows our thoughts. In Psalm 139:23, King David records, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts." He actually gives these three answers throughout the entire Bible, as well in my experience, with either yes, no, or wait. One of the greatest feelings is when God says yes. Last year, I invested in a professional photo printer because I'm a photographer and wanted to sell prints I make of the Coachella Valley. The new printer came with a set of inks, but pretty soon I was going to have to replace them with a new set. The problem was a new set of inks for this printer runs for $650 to $700 USD. I knew this before I bought the printer, but I wasn't really making a return with it yet. So I was searching online daily for somebody selling them for a lower price. I ended up finding this listing on Lecrae for a little bit over $400, but I put off buying it until I got paid from work. Less than a week went by and it sold, but I accepted that that listing wasn't meant to be. There were other listings for incomplete sets, but I didn't really want to settle for this. I prayed to God for another good listing and I told him that I'd be patient. The Lord said yes. A few days later, a listing showed up on OfferUp for 2 brand new sets of ink for $700. God gave me something better than I had expected. Thankfully, I cannot count the amount of yeses I've gotten, but I also can't count the number of no's. Several years ago, this child that my family knew was involved in an accident. It wasn't the family's fault, and they ended up in the ICU on life support for several days. And so many came in support of this child and their family, hoping that they would make it out alive. Many of us were in prayer, including myself, even though I was a lot younger at this time. And I still have faith that God could have healed him. But in this case, he said no. And it was very painful. He left this earth and joined his Creator in heaven. And I still don't know why. But I do know that God owns everything, even our souls. And he has the authority to say no, like a parent does. But I believe he's for us, and he's not against us, even when we don't understand. And it can be easy to confuse when God says wait for a no. I grew up with many different kinds of friends, and through these experiences, God was forming me, even though I wasn't devoted to him at the time. And I struggled to find lasting, healthy friendships. So back then, I prayed that the Lord would send the right people at the right time. For several years, he allowed me to fail in these friendships, yet he showed me my mistakes and convicted me through the Holy Spirit so that I could be a better friend. And eventually, I entered new amazing friendships that I can contribute to. Waiting can be hard, but he's shown me again and again that I can trust his timing. So please, call upon the Lord no matter who you are, because he will hear you and he will answer you. And if you don't like the answer, talk to him. Pray for him to show you why that was his answer. People may argue that there are verses like Isaiah 1:15 where God chooses to ignore the prayers of certain people, but for him to ignore a prayer in itself is an answer, in the form of no. Maybe you can find times in your life where these are God's replies. I would like to go more in depth in separate videos about these different answers. These videos aren't just made for Christians. If this interests you, I'll be uploading more videos about Bible and life topics. Bye.
If I choose to fall, will it match your path and your plans for me? 'Cause what's this to life without pride?